My mom has instilled in me that caring about something so much, having passion about something outside of the house, that's what I saw growing up, right? That's what I saw, is that you could do anything. If you just try and you love something so much, you could do it. And that's what was modeled to me my entire life.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Perfect 10 podcast with Amber and Emily, where we challenge the pressures and redefine perfectionism one guest at a time.
Our next two guests, it's a duo like us. We are so excited to chat with them. There are so many similarities. They are just an incredible duo of Smash and Tess.
That's right. So Smash and Tess is responsible for what we call the Romper Revolution, which I am a huge Romper fan. Everyone that knows me knows I love them. Ashley is the mother of two daughters. She has a background in education and corporate training. Teresa worked in financial services her entire career. She's also an author, and they are also from Canada originally. So we love this. It's a duo, Canada, comfy clothes. Welcome to the show, Ashley and Teresa.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So good to be here.
You guys are adorable. I love it so much. Mother, daughter, I can't believe it. So we just gave you a little, rundown intro, but we'd love to hear from you guys who you are and what you're doing with your amazing company or what you're trying to do. Get out there.
Yeah, so I'm Ash, the Smash of Smash and Tess, and I have the profound joy of working with my mom, who is the Tess of Smash and Tess. She's my business partner and best friend. I actually, before this, was a teacher for 10 years and had a little stint in banking and somehow landed running a fashion brand. And we can talk more a little bit about what sort of prompted that. But here I am. I guess it's been 9 years since Smash and Tess started. And I love every single day and just feel tremendous gratitude for getting to spread joy and make women feel beautiful and empower them to live their big lives.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I am the Tess of the Smash and Tess, Teresa, and Mother Teresa to my daughter, Ashley, of course.
I love it.
Saint-like qualities, I think.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, I, as was mentioned, thank you. I am a career banker from way back. I spent half of my career in Canada, in Vancouver, as an executive in banking. And then I spent the next half of my career in the US doing exactly the same thing. And I finished my career just 2 years ago as the president of a very large credit union in Los Angeles. And they're about a $7.5 billion shop. So I sort of finished it with a big hurrah as I left and put together a big merger before I left. And then I went out and wrote a book because why not? I finally had time to put all of these thoughts that I had on paper. So I did. And then I've been now on the speaking circuit and, doing some conference work and doing some executive coaching and of course, a lot more involved in and right there working with Ashley and Smash and Tess. So it's been quite a journey, but lots of fun.
I am in awe of powerhouse women. Even when I was young, I would see women in business suits on their way to their powerhouse position. And it's just always sparked so much in me of awe and just, I am in awe of people and women like you that go in there and get women into these CEO huge positions. So good on you. And I want to hear more about that. But first, how did you guys get into Rompers? That's the question. How do you decide we're going to be a huge, massive, amazing, incredible romper company?
Well, that was an accident. It was a beautiful accident, but we started Smash and Tess because we always loved clothes. My mom and I we'd spend all year and we would plan our Christmas PJs. It was like we would start in January to find the perfect things for the following Christmas. And there just we felt like a lot lacking in the market. And I actually went through a huge breakup and my mom ripped out a piece of a magazine and it was Condé Nast College. Vogue had a fashion crash course in London for the summer. And I had summers off as a teacher. And she said, go, it's the perfect time. Go and do what you always wanted to do, learn more about fashion. And hey, maybe we'll start a business. And so I went. And very quickly learned that I wasn't very good at a lot of the things, including magazine covers and things like that. But I had a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. And so Smash and Test was really born, our business plan was born out of that summer spent in London. But we were going to do PJs, we were going to do, it's more loungewear. But what we knew was that fashion was elitist. And we knew that unless were that heroin chic look, or, you looked a certain way or felt a certain way, ran in the right circles, it could be incredibly elitist and tough to kind of feel like you're a part of it. And so when we started Smash and Test, it was both, yes, we love fashion, we love clothes, we want everyone to feel beautiful in their own skin and whatever they're wearing and feel comfortable. But it was also like, hey, let's shake this up a little bit and let's actually bring fashion to everyday women who just want to feel amazing. And if they gain 10 pounds or they lose 10 pounds, whatever stage and age of their life, will feel incredible in their clothes. And so that's what really made us, that was what Smash and Test was born of. So we always say the Romper Revolution, it's really a community. It was meant to be an online space where women felt nurtured and celebrated and taken care of and included. And so that's how Smash and Test was really born. And we were really, I'll be honest with you, we had one romper in our first fall collection ever. And yeah, Miss Jillian Harris put it on her body along with another couple of influencers. And like overnight, all of a sudden, our Shopify app was dinging and we had more sales than we knew what to do with. And we realized that it was in this sort of the romper almost, it was a symbolic of what we were trying to do, right? You put it on and you feel free. You stop thinking about your body. You start just feeling, it's not about men. It's not about your partners. It's about us, right? And it's liberating and it's, all of those things. And so it's really, when we say the romper revolution, we're not just talking about rompers, we're talking about just that feeling of feeling comfortable with who you are and celebrating that. And the amount of women that come and say like, I can't wear that. And we're like, girl, you can. And I think that's Mom and I's job, is we're your biggest hype girl. That's why we're here. We're here to hype you up.
We love that because we always say, be your own hype girl. Like that's one of our sayings, is be your own hype girl. And because we want to be that for other people, for them to learn for themselves. And so that's exactly what you're saying. So it was your very first collection that you got big influencers like Jillian Harris. I told them that's how I found Smash and Test. I was already following them before we even talked about this interview with them. And it's because I had seen their stuff and all that through that. That's huge.
Well, and what I love too is that you too are breaking the barriers of perfectionism, just as we are with, like, you don't have to be a supermodel in this elite thing. No one's perfect. No one wants to be. Let's just forget it all and just feel fabulous and be fabulous. And I love that so, so much.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, when you look at fashion, you think, well, you're always looking at designs that will help you go out and look fantastic when you go out. And we actually started all of this thinking, what do you look like when you get home from out?
Yeah. I'm more interested in that.
Yeah. Do you put on your boyfriend's sweater? No. I mean, we still want to look feminine. We still want to feel really good about ourselves. And, as a woman, as you described earlier, Emily, you were talking about, and Amber, both of you, about wearing the business suits and all of this kind of stuff. And yeah, that's what I did for my entire career. And I'm going to tell you, to kick off those high heel shoes and take off that business suit and let the hair down, what did I want to go to? And it was something super comfortable at home and still looking fabulous in it. So that was kind of why I love the idea of, let's do something that's more casual and more comfortable and all of those attributes that we talked about. So it was important. Besides which, I could find something I could do and work with my daughter. How fun is that?
And isn't that
I know. And I love that so much. So obviously you guys have such a great relationship. Do you feel like, we always say like we're very like yin and yang, like we're like polar opposites, but we have the same agenda. At the end of the day, our goal and our values of what we want with what we're doing in our life are the kind of same, but we could not be more different, which is so fun. So how about you guys working together? Do you guys feel like you're very similar? You have your different strengths and weaknesses. How does that work?
Yeah, I think like it's always worked because we both we do very different things in the business and we offer very different perspectives. We're both similar in that we're incredibly action oriented. So like we're like, you got to trust me. Our husbands are constantly complaining because mom and we've always got lists of things, we're doing them and we're going. And I think that's actually what I always tell entrepreneurs. It's like, the only reason you're not running a business is because you're not running a business. Like, you literally, you just have to start. You have to start and you have to go. And it's not about perfect. It's just about taking those steps, right? And so I think with mom and I, we're really similar that way. And that's why we're so goal and action oriented. But where we differ is obviously we have such different perspectives of the world. She has an incredible business acumen. She knows what it's like to manage a lot of people. She knows finance side, which I like, that was never trust me, I barely passed math 11. Like, finance was not my jam. But I think what I offer is a whole other side of things that she doesn't understand, with social media and obviously our demo and so we actually, I think we complement each other well. And I think the reason we're still working together 9 years later, almost 10 years later, is because we both know kind of what our strong suits are and what we bring to the table. But I'm very thankful to have a thought partner like my mom to bounce ideas off, and I can come to her crying at the end of a hard day, and she knows what to say to pick me up and get me back going. So it's been a real gift.
Well, and that's a really good point. So I love the idea that, be your own hype girl, but I'm Ashley's mom, but I'm also her hype girl. I mean,
Yes.
trust me, I definitely am there for that. And most times she doesn't need a mom, but sometimes she does, and I'm just consistent to tell her that she's amazing. I've had my career. I've been the CEO. I've done it all that way, but now it's her turn. And if I can just support that she does an amazing job here, that I'm here for her, that I believe in her, and that she's got this, you know what I mean? That's kind of the biggest emotional role that I have in the business. And yes, by the way, I look after the finances, but it's about having that kind of energy as well that helps her be all she can be.
And as someone from the outside, I really feel that your business and your product reflects, like, basically, you got this. You're awesome. Go out there and live your best life. So it's just, you can feel it because it comes from the top, you saying you got this, and then your people wearing your rompers.
It's a beautiful, I feel like you're usually the crier.
Yeah.
I was like about ready to cry when you were saying that, because that is such a beautiful relationship. And although we're not like a mother-daughter, I do feel like you can tell when someone in the business, when it's a partnership, it's hard. It is so hard to be a business owner. People just don't get it until they've done it, the ups and downs. And to have someone when you're down to just like cheer you on, and then vice versa, to have that where you got each other's back and kind of like, we got this, to keep the positivity alive.
Do you find that though, do you guys find this? Because for us, when one's stressed, the other's good. And when like about a certain thing, I'm like, we're good, don't worry. Or I'm panicking and she's like, we're good, don't worry. It's always one of us good, one of us bad. Do you find that in your relationship?
You intuitively know, right? You can feel it bubbling, and you know that this is when you step up. You don't fall into the same trap. You can't. If you're both in that place, you're both in the mire, forget it. You're not going to get anything done. But it just seems we both
been
know
there,
that.
Mom, but that's when we have stiff drinks. Yeah.
It's true. When you need the real good escape and cry, and then you're like, okay, we're both getting back up. That's good.
Yeah, we're standing back up. So when it comes to designing the rompers, how do you go through that process? We're interested in hearing how that works. And also, like, where's the line of stopping and being like, okay, nothing's going to be perfect. This is like, because I'm someone that would be like, okay, now change this, and okay, now change this. So what's the process, and how do you know when it's not perfect, but it's good to go?
I mean, I think all clothes you always get to a good to go place, because you could fiddle with it all. You could fiddle with it till the cows come home. I think that it's funny though, because sometimes you have like a million iterations of something. And with the Sunday romper, I'll never forget it, because we had this idea. We took it to the production house. By the way, I'm like a horrible drawer. So it's like you're kind of sketching out things and you're like, can you make this? This is what I want to make. And I remember it came back, and it's the only time this has ever happened. And I put it on and I was like, oh, it's perfect. Like, it was like the heavens opened and the light, like it was this weird moment. And it was that romper that started the whole thing. But I think now, like, we're lucky enough, like I have an amazing design, and they're small, but very amazing design and product team who helps me and my mom, and, I give them ideas. They come back. I fit every single thing on my body. It has to come in my size, whether when I was a large, an extra large, and now I'm a small, I have to try it on. We have fit models that we bring in that we try on because we want to make sure that it fits I hate to say plus size girls, but our girls in bigger sizes. I want to make sure it fits them the way it fits me, that they feel as amazing and beautiful and can put it on just as easily as I can. So a lot goes into the design, a lot goes into the fitting. And honestly, I think I've never struggled with that where like, oh, is it perfect? Because honestly, that's not my mom and I. We're like, yes, looks good. It feels good. I love it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's things we've said, nope, cut, we're not going ahead with. Lots of times where we don't feel excited about something or we don't think it fits right. And sadly, we are definitely bogged down by production deadlines where we have to be like, no, we can no longer do it. We're not going to make the deadline. It's cut. But I think overall, like we get to a place where we're like, yes, as long as I feel amazing in it and it's doing all the things I needed to do, it's a go.
And I love as long as everyone feels amazing in it. Because in this day and age and the perfectionism of everyone, I don't know how we got here that everyone's supposed to have the same size or it's not beautiful. Like it's just absolutely insane. The fact that you give that size range so everybody can feel amazing is a gift to the world. And that's a big part of what we do too. So there's another similarity. We have so many that we're like, your body's amazing, move it, feel it, love it. And then people just shine because they're like, oh, it's okay to just be me, be my size because they have my size, So I just love that. And obviously it was meant to be by how everything fell into place and how successful you've been.
Yeah, with the Sunday romper. So that was the thing that kicked everything off for you, right? The romper revolution. From there, do you have a lot of different rompers? Did you just kind of stick with that one and kind of play off of that?
Oh no, we have so many.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we have so many. So every season we're like, okay, what's going to be like the neckline, the sleeve, the whatever. And, actually it's been interesting because we started with rompers, but I think that it's actually evolved because we've been thinking, well, like, how do we give women that other feeling, wearing other things like sweaters or like, how do you go to work? Like what could you wear to work? So what we've tried to do is just reimagine like all of our apparel and for all of life's instances. So it's no longer just about being home or just being in your romper. It's like, how do we carry you through? Because our mission statement is we empower women to live their big lives. So no matter what they're doing, we want them to be able to feel comfortable and beautiful. And to your point around inclusivity, like, I was extra large for a long time. I was kind of teetering on not being able to shop in the same stores as my friends or not being able to have access to the same kinds of clothes. And that's why I was like, this is BS. Like if Jillian Harris, who's a size 2 extra small, can wear this cute romper, then someone who's a 2 extra large can wear it too and look just as amazing and fabulous and feel just as beautiful and confident. So that's kind of how we involved. It was a romper, but now it's like, we make amazing sweaters that everyone.
I saw dresses.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen lots of different stuff. Yeah.
And how did you get it with Jillian Harris? We need to know. Everyone wants to know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know. And like, this is where I get asked to speak all the time. That's always at Ever What. Like, but how do I do that? Or how do I get Hillary Duff? Or how do I get
Hillary Duff?
You done. And I'm like, there's not a secret formula.
No.
I think what it is having a brand and a product that perfectly align where your values can feel their values. They understand what you're doing and can get behind. That's the first thing any influencer is going to do is go and look and be like, wait a minute, what are these people all about? And I think with Jill, we got lucky because, of course, to me, she's such a champion of small business. And she does the Jilly effect for many, many businesses where she highlights and promotes and talks about them, which is just an incredible way to use influence. But for us, it was started through a PR company. We gifted her something. She didn't wear it. I still bug her about it. The first thing I sent her. And of course, I only made like 10 or something. So I was like, God, now I've wasted the sample. But then the Sunday romper, she put on her body. And I remember I'm sitting at my in-laws and my Shopify is going like, ding, ding, ding. And it's never happened.
That ding. Isn't that the funnest sound?
Yeah.
Oh, my mom
Love the ding.
notifications off. I'm like, turn your notifications
I can't ever. Yeah, it's always on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm laughing. She's the same way. She always has the Shopify notifications on. I'm like, how do you not go crazy? It's the same. That's
I don't
so
want to hear
funny.
it. Like, I don't want to. I'm like, Mom, turn it off. Like, it's
Yeah.
stressing me out. But it was funny. And then I couldn't figure out, well, why am I all of a sudden selling everything? And sure enough, my PR person was like, check the Snapchat. I'm like, what's the Snapchat? I don't know anything about Snapchat. And sure enough, she had shared. And from there, it was just this beautiful organic relationship. And
Yes.
actually prior to collabs, because now I feel like everyone and their
Yeah.
mom. But at the time, I went to her a year later and said, like, you love our product, you wear our product. How about you make a product with us? And then we became friends. And
That's wonderful.
You have to build those relationships and that trust, and it has to be organic for them because that comes across from her, right?
And that's a message for listeners, is just go for it. Like, you went for it. Why not? People are always scared to go for it for some reason, and I'm not sure why, but you basically have nothing to lose. Go out there, put yourself out there. You believe in what you're doing, and spread the word. So I love that. Speaking of going for it.
Speaking of it, I got to say one last thing
Oh,
about your company. Whenever you talk about it, I'm like, this is a company for me, because I literally look at my clothes and I'm like, what is the most comfy, cozy outfit I can wear that is socially acceptable for this outing? That's literally like my goal in life. When I'm buying something, I'm like, am I going to look acceptable and be comfortable? So when you describe what you're doing this, I'm like, this is designed for me.
She's ready. She's
full
ready.
set.
I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So, okay, speaking of going for it, Teresa, we want to hear about your book. Very, very interesting. Suits and Skirts, Game On. I love it. I love the name, Powerhouse.
So good. Yeah.
And tell us more about it.
Well, it truly is game on, and that's kind of my view. And it's interesting. I've just when I finished my career and took retirement, which really has never happened. I'm failing at retirement, trust me. But I had a chance to really start to think about, what have I done for my career? And I realized that I was a big advocate for women, always advancing women. There was one time where my entire 6-person executive team were all women running a big financial institution. And so I looked at that and thought, but why isn't that widespread? And as I started to look at some of the research, I guess what really got to me is looking at the press and the media spin out there that talked about the progress that women were making in leadership roles. And I realized that it's just absolute BS. I mean, women are not making any progress. And I sort of start my thinking on the book that, first of all, look at the progress, look at the research. We know no progress has been made. I mean, none. In 1971, we had one woman who was in the Fortune 500. And here we are in 2024, and we have maybe 50. So we're talking 10% after 50 years, 55 years. It's ridiculous. Like, this is not progress. And women, as we all know, are graduating from every faculty, more so than men are today. The workforce is made up of more educated women than educated men. So it's not that we don't have our bona fides in place. It's not that we don't have our education in place. Sadly, there are very systemic issues that keep women from advancing and becoming leaders, and leaders in every faculty, leaders not just in corporate business and finance, but healthcare and education, government. I mean, I don't care what faculty, we need more women there, because the world will be better if you have sort of that 50-50 representation at those senior decision-making levels. So with that in mind, I'm a marketer from way back. So that's how I started my career, as marketing and communications. And I knew that before you put something out there to market, you got to figure out who your audience is and how you want to present it. So I said, it's the men that need to hear this message. So I wrote the book for men.
Yes.
That's my audience is. And I slap them around a bit. So it's a bit in your face. It's kind
Yes,
of
queen. I love it.
Yeah, it ruffles some feathers. But the whole point is that we need men as our advocates, not our adversaries. We need them to help us move forward. But I guess what I'm really sort of obsessed with is making sure that we remove those those roadblocks, the systemic barriers that we have. And there are many still, sadly. Most of it is unintentional. because we're educated people. We understand why it would be important to have women in your business. You're going to be more successful if you do. And the reason is because you have different perspective at that board table. So I go into it in great detail. Please read it. It's
Yes.
refreshing. Men will find that, God, they resemble those remarks. That's what's going to happen. And women will say, damn it, I finally have a script. I have a voice, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to do something about it. So if we can do that, I'm looking for 50-50 in terms of leadership positions here for women. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. So.
No, that is incredible. And I just see, like, you can see why you, Ashley, are so successful when you have this as a mom as well, like, cheering you on. And you obviously have men in your lives who champion women like we do. We have obviously our husbands that champion women.
I think in the corporate world, is a next
so
level.
That's
like what you are talking about. Like there are more women entrepreneurs, and I believe that. And I believe there's husbands that are like, go girl. Like our husbands were the providers and the caregivers while we were gone doing this business, and they never once resented us and were like holding us up in a chair. I think the corporate world is next level, and I'd love to read all about it because I find it fascinating.
You make a really good point. And the reason why women are moving and doing their own thing is I actually say this very specifically in the book, is that we're done. We're done trying to claw our way up here. We're going to start our own damn businesses.
Yeah.
I actually had that thought when you were talking about it and thinking about corporate America. And I'm like, that's the reason all these women are starting their own businesses, because they're like, we're going to do it ourselves. But I do believe there needs to be a change. That's incredible.
And too bad for them, because they're missing out. If the women are doing their own businesses, women bring so much to the table. And good for you for writing this book. I cannot wait to read it. And like Emily said, no wonder, Ashley, you're so amazing with a mother like this. How could you not be? Truly, Teresa, wow. I just can't get enough. This is amazing. So we do have some questions for you.
I think, Ashley, did you have something to say?
Oh, I just think that this is an important conversation, not just in corporate, but in entrepreneur. And I think as Canadian women in business too, we have to speak up and share our experiences with lenders, with capital, with investment, all of it, because I think there's still a huge roadblock for us in that regard. And to the point of having an amazing mom, I always say this, and I wrote the foreword to my mom's book. And I think it's
in itself will bring you to tears. You have to read.
I think
very emotional.
Women need to hear this, because if you think about how many friggin' podcasts I've done where women women and men say to me, Ashley, how do you balance it all? There's just a lot more conversation around that. But my mom has instilled in me that caring about something so much, having passion about something outside of the house, that's what I saw growing up, right? That's what I saw, is that you could do anything. If you just try and you love something so much, you could do it. And that's what was modeled to me my entire life. So yeah, and I say this in the foreword, why was I always the first to put up my hand? I'm like, who wants to go first? It was always me, right? Because that's just what I saw. So moms and women, when you're away from your house and you're away from your kids and you're away and you feel that intense guilt, just remember that you're actually modeling the behavior that you want your kids to have. And one day they will be such incredible humans that are fearless and that have confidence. And it's because of this incredible work that you're doing. And I think it's so easy to fall into that guilt,
Yeah, that's incredible. We've talked about that a lot, because, and I even have grown up in Utah, where a lot of stay-at-home moms. And so for me, starting a business when I was, had a 6-month-old and a 4-year-old, there was, a lot. And I since have had another child, but I just know I will preach it to the choir. Anyone who will listen, as well as my husband, will say the same thing. The things my kids have learned from watching me leave and be outside the home and go after my dreams, and the people that it's brought into their lives, other people because of it that have been able to care for them or be in their lives because of it. You are living proof of that. We have strong women in our lives and men, and we're so grateful. We love to end, because this is all about breaking the mold like you guys have done, with some questions. And you guys can just, whoever wants to answer, you can both answer, or just one of you take turns. A couple just fun rapid fire questions. So the first one is, Ashley, who is someone you think is just perfect?
My daughters.
No.
Oh, I love that. We both have two
We
daughters
both
too.
have two daughters. She had a bonus son that I get 25% share in, but we both have two daughters too. So I couldn't agree more. Watching them grow up is just such a beautiful, they're perfect. They are perfect.
My response would be same as in my daughter.
Oh,
Yeah. So sweet.
Okay, so what's the most perfect piece of advice that you've ever received?
My mom tells me to protect my energy. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to do. And it's not easy.
No.
And my
I
dad, long before it was Nike's slogan, used to just say, just do it. Teresa, do it. Just do it.
Just do it. I feel like a lot of people that we talk to are entrepreneurs or leading companies. That is the biggest piece of advice. And you said it too, Ashley, at one point. Just go for it. Put in the work. Just do it. And it's like, that's what makes successful people. You don't have to know all the answers. You just go for it. And I love that so much. Okay, I got to know, because you guys are busy. You're powerhouse women. What is your idea of like the perfect way to wind down at the end of a day?
It's our slogan, hair up, bra off, romper on.
Yes, I love it.
Except for I'm the person that never puts the bra on.
Yeah. Bra, we don't
Why
wear
do you think I
bras.
have a vest or a sweater on? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so the final question, and it's for both of you, and that is, what makes you perfectly imperfect?
I would say it's my vulnerability.
That's beautiful.
amazing. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
I would say it's I'm going to call it passion, because I think I just go, I just try. I fail a million times and I hear a million no's. But I'm so passionate about everything I do, even when I'm mad, even when I'm sad, even when, whatever it is, I'm passionate.
And I can feel your passion from here, truly. You can feel the passion, and it's a beautiful thing.
Honestly, it's been such an honor to talk to you guys. I feel like you are just good to the core. I could sit here for hours and just soak in all of your knowledge and expertise and what you have to give. If you guys want to see more from Ashley and Teresa, their Instagram is @Smash Tess. They have also given our listeners a little present. I'm actually going right this minute to purchase a sweater romper that Ashley's wearing, but a little present. And if you haven't ever seen them, check them out. And we have a perfect Smash discount code for you to use for 15% off. Go check them out. Thank you guys so much for being here. We adore you.
Oh,
So wonderful.
Thank
It's
you.
our
It's been a
pleasure.
great chat. Yeah.
Great to meet you guys.
All right. A huge thank you to our guests. Big thank you to tuning in with us at the Perfect 10 podcast. And we'll see you next time.
I can't wait.